Hi there, Jennifer Sanford here from Open Door Communications, and today I want to talk to you about something very near and dear to me, and that is communicating in emergencies. You know, Google communication styles and you'll see a host of charts and diagrams and tests and infographics that explain to you different types of communication styles. But today I want to come back to basics on communications. You know, how you communicate today is a direct indicator of how you will communicate in an emergency. It's magnified when you add stress on top of needing things to be done quickly, needing people to be responsive. So how you behave today, and I'll say it again, is a direct correlation to how you're likely to behave in an emergency situation. We find there are 4 dominant communication styles that we see day to day. The first is aggressive, and that's basically I count and you don't count. And what you see there is very little listening happening. You see people having a lot of filler in the way that they talk, whether they're using sarcasm or blame or humiliation. And you know, Dale Carnegie training would tell you that that does not allow you to build rapport at all. It's a one-way conduit to communicate. And in an emergency situation, that builds a disconnect faster than any other method of communication. The second style of communication we want to watch out for is passive aggressive. Now that's I count, you don't count, but I'm not going to tell you that. And that will manifest itself as everything being indirect. We have a disconnect between what we're saying and what we're doing. This can be a huge time waster, not only in the everyday, but in an emergency environment, because people are needing to guess what you really mean, and that can lead to a lot of confusion and misdirection. We also have a tendency to see passive, and that's I don't count and you don't count. And where we see that is people being very disconnected. Their voice is weak, there's a lack of engagement, there's not a lot of responsiveness, and it is very dangerous in an emergency environment. Some people say, well, we don't have to worry about passive people in an emergency. But when you're banding together to work as a team, this can be very challenging and very damaging to your ability to respond and move to recovery, because you don't know how these people are feeling, you don't know if they're responsive to what you need, and it's something that needs to be addressed now if you see that type of communication style in your organization. The last one, and the best one, is assertive, which is I count and you count. And what that really means is that you're seeing a lot of active listening. People are looking to build two-way symmetrical communication between what I'm saying and what you're saying, and coming together to understand both perspectives evenly. Every school of training, whether you're a John Maxwell student or, as I mentioned, a Dale Carnegie student, support the idea of assertive speaking. It's easy to say that in an emergency environment, we need to default to something aggressive because we need to make decisions quickly. But that marginalizes the perspective of others. Another myth that people have about assertive communication style is that it takes a long time because it's so consultative. But if you establish strong, quick, assertive dialogue in the everyday, you will actually find yourself being able to move quickly with a larger amount of people to make decisions in an emergency when time is so of the essence. So where am I going with all of this? And that's really that it's time to look at the communication styles in your organization now. It's time to be responsive to knowing what you're doing now and the correlation that it makes in an emergency environment. If you think you need a tune-up, it's probably an opportunity to call us. You can learn more about how we're invested in communications at our website, www.opendoorcommunications.ca. Thanks for watching.